Okay, today I've been asked a bunch of times to, how do you say, explain draft a little bit, maybe. Like, just a tiny amount of explanation about draft. So, I'd like to, just, yeah, just talk about draft for a bit in general. Maybe, like, I will be rambling. This will not make sense. But I think if I do start talking about it now, I will probably, like, make some sense, right? If you look at what I'm saying. Because if I never get started on speaking, I will never understand it myself either. So, here we have Draft and Brawl Stars. First of all, how does it work? Where is it used? How to utilize it well? Okay, that's what we're gonna look into today. Okay, first of all, the draft system was introduced with Power League back when that was introduced, which is the old ranked system. And the only way to play with draft is to use the power match system in friendlies or to play ranked. The draft system, which is not... it starts from Mythic and above, the normal draft system. Anything below that is watered down or not the same. So I will only be focusing on Mythic and above. Anyways, the system includes having every player ban one brawler, a ban phase where bans are picked. Each team gets to have 3 bans of their own. They don't get to see what the enemy team banned until the ban phase is over, so you could have mirror bans but with the enemy team. At least 3 brawlers will be banned, and at most 6 different options will be banned from being picked by either team. Second phase is the pick phase. In the beginning of a match, a coin is rolled, and okay, let's just give an example. So we're like on Bell's Rock, right? Let's say like these 6 brawlers get banned, okay? Like I'm just picking random ones. Ignore the score stuff. I don't really care about this. It's we'll get into that later. Anyways, so let's say 6 brawlers are banned. The team that got the coin flip gets to pick first. They get to pick the first brawler, and then the enemy team picks 2 brawlers in response. So like let's say we first picked Al. Okay, dude. All right. Okay. Well, I can't use the website for this, but well, I suppose we'll have to adapt to that. Hold on a moment. No, I don't care. I'm not using my... Okay, well... you use an... Each team picks, you know... the brawlers that they want to play. And let's just look here real quick. Okay. Let's say this is Team 2. And this is Team 1. Okay? Team 1... wins the coin flip in the beginning, which is decided by the game. They ban 3 brawlers, and Team 2 bans 3 brawlers. Okay. Now, the first pick goes, because they won this coin flip, the first pick goes to Team 1, and then, hold on a second. Wait. There we go. Alright, much better. And then, after Team 1 picks a brawler, Team 2 gets to pick the next 2 brawlers. And then, Team 1 gets to pick the 4th and 5th brawler, and then Team 2 gets to have the last 6th brawler. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the match starts. There are differences, like there are things to do during after the pick phase, but this is usually how draft goes. Either Team 1 or Team 2 gets the first pick, and the team that doesn't get the first pick gets the last pick. Based on the bans and the pick order, and the map, of course, most drafts are decided right away. So yeah. Based on that, okay, hold on, let me just full screen and click off this. One thing I will say, solo queue and pro play draft are different because, you know, the pro teams do have like strategies communicated with each other, and solo queue players don't. So what do you do as a solo queue player, right? Well, how do you draft? Well, I have a bunch of steps that one needs to establish based on how they want to draft. Okay, first of all, what brawlers do I like to play? I should get my pencil for this 1 second. So, like I said, the first step is deciding what brawler you do like to play. Because that really matters, what brawler you can and like playing. Like, it doesn't have to be full enjoyment, like, I'm not telling you to pick Dynamite everywhere. Like, of course, the brawler needs to be good for the situation and the map. But, like... Alright, there we go. Brawler... capability, let's say that. Capability. Okay, wait a minute. This is so scuffed. Pen, tablet, there we go. This will be much better, because it won't lag whenever I press it. So, this is step 1 on deciding on... Whoa, why is it so sensitive? Okay. Yeah, this is step 1. What you're trying to do is pinpointing, like, you look at the map, and you say, oh, I like playing this brawler, or this brawler, or this brawler on this map, because they're really decent at it, and I'm good on these brawlers. Of course, this requires knowledge on why a brawler is good on a map, or and whatnot. An example to this would be like, I don't know, Hard Rock Mine. Why is it so sensitive? Holy shit. Oh my god. My pencil is so sensitive for no reason. Let me replug it. Alright. Is this better? Oh. Oh, I see why. Okay. Wait, did I move the screen? Holy shit. What did I do? Whoops. Let's fix that. Alright, there we go. Let's not do that again. There we go. Okay. So, it's Hard Rock, okay? Hard Rock Mine. The gem grab map. Hard Rock Mine. And let's say I really like playing Ash on this map. Ash, right? So, when I look at the bans, I think, what is a really good brawler on this map? Like a meta brawler that annoys my pick the most. Or potentially a ban that just denies their biggest counter against my brawler. So in this example, it would be something like, I don't know, Frank, right? Frank. Really annoying brawler for Ash. And he's pretty decent on the map. Is he good enough for me to like focus him on my ban? If not, I just stick with a meta ban, right? So I don't have to ban Frank just because I want to play Ash. Okay, I'm derailing. Hold on. Okay, well, let's simplify this a bit. Look at map. Okay, this is the map. And then think of the brawler options that you do have on it. So like a sniper map, right? You could play Angelo, you could play Piper, you could play Byron, whatever, right? You think of your options right as you see the map. And eventually you do build a feeling for what brawlers you do like on what map. And you can adapt based on the picks outside of yours. So, this is the first step. You just look at... You just try to tie the brawler to the map that they're good with. That's step 1. Step 2... where's the pencil? Okay, step 2, in my opinion, is asking yourself, is my brawler, like, good early or late? Early or late? Okay, let's think. Is my Gus pick better earlier or later? And because, like, you are showing your card or your pick to the enemy team, they are allowed to counter it unless your last pick. So this is something that you have to pay attention to not offer your enemies too many options. As for the third step, what strategy are we aiming for as a team? Like, strat, right? Strat or approach. Strat, approach, whatever. Do we wanna play very aggressively? Wait. First, flash later. And then aggro slash safe. These are the two main ways to play the game. Aggressive and safe. We do have a bunch of examples here. From pro play. I know I said it's not similar, but like I think we can use this as an example. So here we can just look at the by the way, all this takes place before the picks even start. Like this is all just thinking before the picks. So like here, you ban like here. Let's look at Bound by Oath, which is red team. They have first pick, so they want to ban stuff that enables really good countering. Like here, because they ban the aggressive options. So like Kaze, Terra is an amazing counter to aggression herself. So she would also be like a very strong last pick. Jaeyoung can enable aggression, which can also enable a last pick. And Kaze is a fantastic aggression pick. On the contrary, blue team, which is Foot, they ban Kenji, Lumi, and Hank. And their main goal here is to like deny as much like good first picks as possible, because every single pick here is a good first pick on this map. Because, well, I assume here they scrimmed against the enemy team and they have an idea that they would ban aggression. So they want to ban some of it back to deny it as well. They end up open, and here is where they get to the picking phase. They start with Gray. Gray is a really good early pick, so that checks one. Okay, well this person has looked at three things already. They like playing Gray because he's good on this map, and they're good at him. Gray is a good early pick, and he sets up. Actually, Gray is one of the unique cases that sets you up for both aggressive and passive play, because he's very versatile as a first pick. So this checks three boxes. On top of that, it checks the fourth box, which I will show right now. The fourth box, where is my fucking pen? There we go. Fourth box. It is synergy. Synergy. Or the everything rule. This doesn't apply as much in pro play, so we won't see it in those examples as much, but I would like to still talk about it in that context. The everything rule, okay? So when you like, you know, pick your brawler, they need to cover for your teammates' weaknesses or help them push their own strengths forward. And in solo queue, you can define this by looking at what a brawler does and classify it as passive or aggressive. Or in another way, what does my brawler accomplish in draft, right? There are two reasons to pick a brawler in like draft, okay? Like as counter picking, by the way, or setting up. Okay, well, yeah, let's use those words. Set up or match. Okay, so set up brawlers. Set your comp up for winning. by being win conditions, win con, or synergistic versatile brawlers, synergy, so like Gray and whatnot, synergy, and they tend to be like assisting brawlers that also, they don't have to be like the brawler themselves, but like the role that the brawler serves in the draft. So like what you're trying to do when you're drafting here, Gray is setting up a win condition, because when you pick Gray here in Hard Rock Mine, you're threatening a tank TP comp. Like, tank TP is one of the strongest synergies in the game in Gem Grab, and that is synergy with your team. And on top of that, since he's a versatile brawler, he can also play to match the enemy team. Matching the enemy team isn't like countering them, it's mostly just choosing a strategy, a brawler that enables a strategy within a team to match the enemy team's pressure. So like they have Piper, right? How do I match a Piper? I pick a sniper myself, so let's say Angelo. Angelo doesn't particularly counter Piper, nor does Piper counter Angelo. So it's an even matchup, but Angelo and Piper both are making sure the other doesn't go unanswered. Like, it's not a counter, it's just making sure the enemy brawler doesn't get away with getting value for free. This is mostly used when you are like trying to make sure the enemy team doesn't get too much value from a specific brawler. Matching can count as countering, because counter-picking a brawler is one of the best ways to shut them down. However, you need to identify what the win condition is in each comp, and match based on that. So like if Piper is left unanswered, she can very easily become the win condition of the enemy team. So by picking Angelo, you're denying her becoming the win condition. Jean is the win condition of like a passive comp, right? Because they want to farm and then get super and then change the game off the super, right? They might pick RT for synergy, so like RT to synergize with Jean. Protects him up close and has really good poke and is very tanky like Jean. You could pick something like 8-bit, and suddenly you got a very valuable pick, because 8-bit matches both RT and Jean, making 8-bit a really good match pick here, right? And since you're matching both of these brawlers, your teammates can look to set you up with like something like Jay Young, considering it's something like a passive map, they could go Sprout, because Sprout in this case would be very safe with you as 8-bit. So like something like that. But I honestly think if I keep talking about it like this, I would not go anywhere. So we could just go over these pro drafts and maybe analyze them a bit, like why they're good, why they maybe didn't work. So, like I said, they first picked Gray, right? And because they first picked Gray, they were threatening a Gray TP comp. Usually goes with Jackie, by the way. So, in response, the enemy team took Gus and Jackie. Gus, like Gray, is a very versatile first pick and sets up your team. He also matches the Gray in lane, so it basically cancels out Gray's control, because they both have to constantly fight with each other at their distances. And then they take Jackie away from the enemy team to deny the Jackie TP comp. Now, of course, now that you have a Jackie, the Gus helps set her up. So the Jackie is the win condition here. So we already know the Jackie and the Gus are our win condition. Like, the Jackie will want to run it down and deny the Gray as much value as possible, because Gray can't do much into Jackie. And Gus matches Gray. So, since our like strategy that we wanted to play got like answered with something that runs down the brawler that wants to set up the win condition, which is Gray, We want to make their win condition as miserable as possible. So we pick a counter to their win condition, which is, in this case, Chester. Because when we pick Chester here, the Jackie won't get to just walk for free on the gray. And then we lock in our win condition anyway with Frank. So now we have tank TP. That is our win condition. The TP, that is the win condition, and we are still committing to it. Because we believe here that the Chester can deny the Jackie from getting too much value and would help his, like, by denying the Jackie's value against the Gray, since she is the win condition and wants to run him down. He thinks the Gray can set up the TP more efficiently, and getting the TP as early as possible is their win condition. And then Frank is just filling the tank spot and is decent into Jackie, because Jackie isn't a big threat into Frank, which also is good into their, like, playing against Foot's win condition here. Like, they just like, off the first pick with Gray, the win condition for both teams got set up immediately. Because as an answer, they take the Jackie to deny them from having Jackie, and to pressure the Gray, whom is the win condition. As a last pick, they take Shelly, which is unconventional, and that's exactly, like, that's one of the best things you can have in drafts, which is unconventional or surprising picks. By having a surprising pick, you can really throw off the enemy team's strategy. So, like, here, Shelly, again, the enemy team's win condition is to set up the TP for the Frank to get a ton of value. If you have a Shelly near the TP, the Frank can't really use the TP. This relieves some pressure off your Jackie to let her just try to focus on her own pressure. So this is synergizing with the Jackie and actually matching the enemy team's win condition, because she doesn't completely erase the win condition of the enemy team. However, she does assist your win condition while also answering theirs to relieve its pressure. And that's the main goal of draft. Just answering pressure with your picks. It took me a while to get to this point. But yes, that's exactly what you're trying to do. You're trying to match their win conditions and brawlers with your own win conditions and pressure. In this case, the win condition, like I said, is the TP and the Jackie. Oh, okay. we have more examples, but let me just take a breath here. Let me just drink some water, maybe. All right. Of course, the brawler pool, which offers win conditions and whatnot, does change from update to update. So experimenting or watching as many games as possible to see the effectiveness of brawlers in maps or in certain drafts is very important to keep up with. We have a second example. This time it's Reply Totem versus Novo Esports. I chose Heist because Heist might seem like one of the most volatile modes in the game in terms of draft. And in fact, this is a very bizarre draft, okay? So, the first team, which is Reply Totem, actually, Novo got the first pick here, sorry. Novo ban out some really good control brawlers, because control brawlers are really good at answering pressure, which I will get to it in a second. Just control brawlers in general are insane versus like, you know, aggressive teams. So, Reply Totem ban out some of the aggressive options, that being Chuck because he's broken on Heist, Angelo because he's broken on this map, and Lumi because she's broken on everywhere. So, you notice how they ban good first picks. They banned picks that just spell out disaster. While Novo Esports banned out answers to what they wanted to pick, Reply Totem was forced to ban out amazing first picks that set up for amazing win conditions. We can see this again here. Uh, Bound by Oath banned answers to their strategy, while Foot Esports were banning good first picks that set up more win conditions. So here they do first pick Miko, which is one of the most annoying brawlers to deal with on Bridge Too Far in a team setting, of course. Soaking up so much pressure to allow your team to push forward and getting free damage on the safe. So just by picking Miko alone, that's the win condition. Annoying the enemy team as much as possible, while also allowing your team to push forward by pulling a lot of attention. That's Miko's pressure. Miko's pressure is pulling attention. So how do we answer Miko, right? He pulls a lot of attention and deals a lot of damage. So to match that, they take Melody, which can farm notes off of him to also do the same thing. She's also a very attention-demanding brawler that you can't ignore, and her pressure is by distracting you from and allowing her team to push up by soaking up so much attention, because you cannot ignore a Melody in Heist. And you see these two brawlers already are brawlers that the teams have experimented with and realized their strengths on this map in specific. Then they pick Eve because, like the map before, it is always safe to have a third or second pick be a very versatile brawler that also covers for the weaknesses of the first one that you've picked on the team. So in this case, Melody is a very aggressive like brawler. So they pick a control brawler to back it up, because Melody's control sucks ass, right? She can't contest at range. So if you don't pick something to contest people at range on this map and like deny free push up, then you're just leaving your Melody to soak up too much pressure, because you also are looking to assist your Melody here by relieving some pressure off of her by shooting at the enemy team from a distance, or by being aggressive yourself. They decide to go for the first because it is the safer option in draft. It's always safer to go with the safer option. It might lead to less wins in solo queue, because throwing off people is how you win, and mostly in solo queue. But allow me to continue. So Eve sets up both the last pick and the first pick very, very well, because she's a control brawler. You already have a control brawler now, so you can either choose to double down on the aggression with last pick, or help her even more with the control to push the pressure on the enemy team's win condition as much as possible. Your win condition here is denying their win condition, which is the Miko, as much as possible, because that's still the first pick. Like, we're still gonna get to it. So the enemy team in response picks Juju and Meg, which are both controlled brawlers, in response to Melody, because they can both deal with Melody really well, and Juju can maneuver around the map like Eve can. So in this situation specifically, Juju is serving the same role as Eve in this situation. So I won't repeat everything. However, Meg is just a direct counter pick to the win condition, which is Melody. Melody can never get close to Meg. So as long as Meg is left for free without being matched, the Melody, which is your win condition, cannot do anything. So Totem opts in to, and she also denies a last pick of extra aggression, because she's insane into aggression. So Totem decide to opt in for another controlled brawler, that being Belle, which is a direct counter to Meg, whom is matching your Eve and countering the Melody. In this case, we have the Melody matching the Miko's pressure, the Eve matching the Juju's pressure, and then the Meg countering Melody, but then the Bell countering Meg. So it's like a couple of lines between brawlers. If you just look at draft as that, like you tie a bunch of lines between your characters, like good synergy or not an overabundance of aggression or overabundance of passive gameplay. Like if had they swapped out Melody for like a very safe pick like Lola, yes, they have fantastic control. They have 3 controllers, right? But then the enemy team can just choose to not opt in for the Meg because they can just pick another controlled brawler of their own because then they have 2 controlled brawlers and an aggressor. So with you paying attention to the aggressor, the 2 controlled brawlers can overwhelm you really easily. That is what I call the everything rule, and I believe most comps in most solo queue games just work with this. As long as you have 2 passive / control brawlers and you add an aggressive brawler with them that plays against the enemy team's win condition or creates your own win condition, that is how you draft. That's all you need to know for solo queue. Aggression, 1 aggression, 2 control. You can do 2 aggression, 1 control, and you can do triple control or triple aggression. That's how every comp is. As long as you like just look at your brawlers and try to classify which one of these serve as win conditions, which ones could serve as win conditions, which ones are aggressive in nature, which ones are passive, what play style they enable, what strategies they might have. So like Gray TP, tank, and whatnot. Ugh. You know what? I know I'm way off the rails. I just hope most of this makes sense. Here we have one last example. So, oh wow, would you look at that? 2 aggression. The first pick here is Inner Circle. They decide to ban good counter picks because Crow denies healing, Chester is an insane tank counter as last pick especially, and Lou is really annoying to deal with on this map because again he's insane into tanks. Meanwhile, Team Heretics also again opts in to ban great first picks that serve as win conditions, that being Lou, Finks, and Lumi. That's a trend that you'll notice. Most of the team with first pick bans insane counters to the win condition that they are thinking of, while Team Heretics bans the best first picks, or try to ban them. So it's always good to have a first pick in mind that isn't ultimately meta in order to set up a strategy and win condition and whatever. So they first pick Hank, which is like immediately obvious. That's your win condition. You want to run through the enemy team with Hank. There's a lot of walls on this map. Alright, that's what we're doing. Okay. So they counter pick the win condition with B, which is the counter pick here, and the brawler that would match the upcoming picks because she's a ranged brawler. You have to answer her. Okay, no. You have to answer her not because she's ranged, but because she's immediate, like, outright targeting your win condition. And you don't want to let that go for free, so you have to match her. Then they go with Carl, which is their aggressive option because Carl can be really aggressive, especially with his super and flying hook. So that's their aggressive pick. And their win condition here is to just counter the enemy team's win condition. Like, with these 2 picks alone. Like, just Hank, B, Carl. Their win condition is decided as shut down the enemy's win condition and win by controlling the map. Like, you could classify them as 3 control brawlers, but I will get to that later. So, Inner Circle decides to match the B, because you have to match the B, with Gus, whom also enables your win condition with shields and healing. But like, come on. But then they choose to double down on the aggression because they see Heretics have like 2 control type brawlers. Even though Carl is sort of a hybrid with Flying Hook and the Burn, since he could be classified as control, they decide to double down with aggression, and aggression that isn't counterable easily and synergizes with your matching pick. The matching pick being Gus. Gus synergizes amazingly with Kenji. Lou, Chester, and Crow are all banned, which sets up both of your tanks now. And this is where they pivoted. Like, their win condition was Hank, but now it's Kenji and Hank. It's running them down. That's their win condition. They want to run them down with the overwhelming amount of HP, and Gus supporting them both. So, seeing this, Team Heretics also decides to double down on their win condition counter. They already have a lot of damage with B, but they decide that they need a lot more damage. So they go with Meg, whom answers both of the win conditions available on Inner Circle's team. And by that, she also is countered by Gus, which like is a risk sometimes that you have to take, because you sometimes have to draft a bad pick into one of their brawlers just to deny their win conditions from getting too much value. Another example would be something like picking Gene into like Mr. P because they have like Brock Piper. You're amazing into both. Okay, wait, never mind. That's a horrible example. You get the point. Sometimes you have to pick a bad brawler against one of their brawlers, as long as you identify that that brawler isn't their win condition. Will they give you trouble in the 1v1s? Yes, they will. Will they be winning the game off those 1v1s? It's whether you let them or not, because they aren't the win condition. You have to remember that. As long as your team is matching them, then you should be fine. And that's the same with Inner Circle. Like, they might be double countered, but the Gus also relieves a lot of pressure with his shields and damage and healing, that they're fine with taking this bad matchup. Like in theory, Meg B is a horrendous matchup, but they still want to play it because they believe their Gus and cover usage can relieve enough pressure off of them to run the enemy team down. And yeah, basically, okay, I need to rail all this back in. I know I've been rambling, but like I genuinely didn't know how this would go. I just wanted to talk about draft. TLDR, draft is about matching the pressure of the enemy team, identifying the win conditions, and choosing whether you want to play harder into your win conditions or deny the enemy team their win condition as much as possible. Those are both valid playstyles. You have 2 classifications of brawlers, either aggressive or passive. Based on that, you can create your own team comp. Always try having aggression on your team, or potential aggression. You don't have to always like be aggressive. You can threaten it. Threatening something is the best thing you could do. As long as you have this understanding of draft, which is matching pressure with matchups, win condition understanding, that's all you need to do. It takes a while to understand where brawlers are good or why they are good into something, but when you look deeper into it, you'll understand through experience and like understanding why a brawler is good against something. And yeah, I wish you luck on your games, and I hope you get to your dream ranks. And I'm sorry this video is so messy, but yeah, goodbye.